Out of body.
All right, we ready?
Yes, sir.
live,
Let's
baby.
make it happen. He said out of body. That's hilarious. All right, 3, 2, we rolling.
Action.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the Say More podcast, where the conversations live. And this is an intersection between fashion, music, food, and mental health. And we're excited about our second episode. We got none other than the incredible. You know what? Now I'm gonna roll it back a little bit.
Okay.
Not even the incredible. The undefeated,
Oh, wow.
unadulterated,
Yes.
former pastor, national recording artist.
National.
And I'm only saying former with quotations because you don't never get to quit being a pastor. You always a pastor,
For
right?
life.
Husband, father, community organizer, entrepreneur, and also the co-founder of More Life,
Yeah.
Taelor Gray.
Peace, peace, peace.
Yeah, we get some sound effects.
Peace.
Turn it up.
So what's up, man? Taylor, how you doing?
Man, I'm tired, but I'm caffeinated, so I'm here and I'm present. So
He hit me up before coming over, like, hey, y'all got coffee there? I'm like, man, they're 12. They do not drink coffee. You know what I mean? So you've been busy, man, been working on a lot of different things.
Yes.
But for those who may not really know Taelor Gray, let's kind of give them an overview of kind of who you are. So when they hear Taelor Gray, what are they hearing?
man, I would love to survey the city and other people and hear their answers.
Yeah.
But I think I've lived several different lives, so I'm in an interesting season right now and transitioning from the role of pastor. And I think even that is new. It feels new to say you retired at an early age, from pastoring. But at the same time, I feel strongly about my contribution. So I hope people say that they felt my contribution, in that space. And even as I'm venturing into a new space, they're experiencing a new version of me. So to answer that question, I think we need a little bit more time to see what the fruit's going to be.
Okay.
Sounds good. What was it that made you realize you needed to make that transition away from pastor?
What's interesting is what I try to tell people, and Yav knows this. I have been telling people that I was going to step down from pastoring for years before it actually happened. So my plan was to pastor for 10 years. I used to work in corporate America, so that was another life that I lived. But when I gave my life and my time to ministry, I kind of offered it to the Lord for a 10-year span, because I believe in setting time limits for the purposes of strategy and planning. So when you come to the end of a certain period of time, you can just kind of rethink what's next and take a fresh perspective on who you've become at that time. So at the end of 10 years, I thought it was time to make a change. So I try to say that it was already planned. It wasn't just a reaction to the circumstance.
It's beautiful.
Somebody's car getting broken into outside. So
We're gonna pray for them.
We in the field, we in the trenches.
Facts. So, in terms of that 10-year span, how has your definition of success changed in that 10 years? Because you think about being an artist, you think about being a pastor, the activism that you do, and all of us, no matter what, especially as artists, there's a certain success that we see other people may have, that we may want, we may chase, but I think for us, in a different space where we're also dealing with people every day, you're trying to serve the community. Has it really changed what your thoughts about success really are, especially from a pastoring standpoint, activist standpoint?
For sure. For me, it's always been about staying tapped in with the people. And I feel like I'm connected to the people. I'm connected to the community.
Yeah.
Metrics can tell a certain story about success, as far as numbers and whatnot, but it's different when you can show up at different parts of the city, different businesses, different churches, and people just actually recognize who you are and what you've contributed. So it's hard to measure that. It's hard to even document that sometimes. But I think one of the biggest wins is that I stayed in the city.
Yeah.
You feel me? I didn't take success somewhere else to define my measurement of what I could accomplish. But, being home means that I won. You know
Man,
what I'm
we
saying?
just talked before you got here. We were talking about how there are so many dope, talented, whether it be artists, whether it be just anybody in any field that are from Columbus, specifically Columbus, because I believe Columbus does have some of the dopest artists in the country,
100%.
and then Ohio definitely.
100%.
But how most people will leave, and as opposed to staying in this place. How important was it for you to be able to still travel really the world doing this, but then land back home?
Man, super important because I had opportunities to leave.
Yeah.
My network is not just here. But I do believe that it's important to have a home base, to have roots, have community, have a support system that's defined. And no matter the season, no matter the opportunity, this place always felt like where I needed to be and to make like the deepest contribution. You can still network, you can still build relationships in other places, but staying home is a purposeful decision, to try to build out generational effect. And I feel like, we sitting with some people who going to take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, Key, you can speak to this because you left for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Where'd you go to?
I went to Texas for a little bit.
Okay.
And I was at a time where I was really young though. I was really young and I didn't understand the impact the city had on me. I first started like making some content and stuff like that, started going viral here in the city. But then when I moved to Texas, like things got expanded and things like that. But that is definitely a decision that I don't know. I don't regret anything I've done in my life, but I do think about that from time to time. Like, what would life look like if I did stay in the city?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm glad about all my decisions and things like that.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you though, like, what made you fall in love with the city? Like, what made you start believing in the city so much?
I think I just saw I had different experiences in the city. I feel like, I grew up here, but, you could have a different experience in a different neighborhood. I grew up on the east side, but, when I was pastoring in Linden. So I always had homies from the north side and, east. Well, I'm not even going to tell you what high school I went to. But, it wasn't Independence, even though I was on the east side. I was on that borderline that sent me to the other school. But having a different experience in Linden from where I grew up made me understand like a different way to translate leadership and be an example in a different place. But at the same time, I feel like I understand where there are places of potential in the city where we just give up too quick. You know what I mean? Like we have to spend the time to develop it. And being inspired for me is finding something new. Like, I meet new people. I meet new people today. I've met people today that tell me they're from the city and doing stuff that I'm just now finding out about.
Yeah, man.
So
Rich had a nice little soft flex on, bro. Like,
super soft.
I'll be on the theater thing, What do y'all call yourself? What's this? There you go. I'm a thespian, bro.
Wow.
You a thespian, bro.
Define, please.
Theater, you actor.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a flex.
Theoretical.
Yeah, I'm thespian.
And it was a sequence. He showed me his streaming profile. I'm like, yo, man, when can I check you out? Or were you at this event? And he was like, nah, man, I was filming a movie.
Lead actor. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, oh, snap. I didn't know, but now I know, and I'm tapped in.
Yeah, for sure. Slime Time Rich.
Slime time building.
Yeah, so I'm always inspired by that stuff.
So let me ask you this: like having all these different things that you may operate in, is there one that feels more authentic? Right? Like, do I feel more authentic as the artist, as the pastor, as the husband, the father? Like, what feels more authentic to you?
The artist.
Okay.
For sure. I color outside the lines of systems. So, the artist gives me the most freedom, and it's hard to put somebody within certain boundaries as an artist because they're always creatively thinking outside the limits. Expectations aren't so clearly defined, and the inspiration comes from within.
Yeah.
So other people can dictate to you what you're supposed to be doing, but if you're a creative thinker, then you're always thinking about what's next. You're thinking about what's bigger than what's accomplished right now. So I think I had trouble in the church at times because I felt like the church was too limited in its creative capacity. I don't even think we've tapped into even 25% of what the church could be. So that's a part of the reason why I felt like it was time for me to step down and move on.
Okay. Wow.
So you're not moving on from the church though, because church isn't like four walls or anything. So like, what is it that you want to bring to the global church that you feel like we haven't maximized?
That's crazy. So what you're saying is, no matter what, he's gonna be pastoring.
He's gonna be pastoring, no matter what.
I'm trying to get him to understand that. No matter what, you know what I mean. No matter what words you use, no matter how, you know what I mean. Go ahead. That's a good question.
maybe I when you hear terms like pastors, you think of a model.
Yeah.
And that's probably what I'm retreating from is the model. But if there's an application of shepherding, leading, discipling, use some of these terms, then it could show up in different spaces. But I think our potential is how we present the faith. I think we present it in a very safe way. But I don't think the scriptures are safe. Okay. I think it's actually... there's some parts very early in scripture where you might not even want the kids to read it for real. Yeah. Like it just doesn't travel to the places where I believe it could go to open up the world of what it means to know God and how to ultimately be effective as a missionary. So I feel like there's the institutional church and then there's the creative capacity of the global church beyond a cultural system. So I'm looking for that.
That's super.
That's a good answer.
That's a great
answer. I'm caffeinated, y'all. I feel
caffeinated. Yeah, because you was just at the studio this morning, right?
Yeah, I was just in the studio, and that's another part of it is the music. And me and Yav have talked about this over the years, and he's actually been another great marker in the city as far as like the whole idea of the street pastor was more than just an artist that translated to the hood. But it was an expression of pastoring that wasn't limited to the church construct. You feel me? So it comes out in rhyme, but it's still leadership, it's still influence, it's still fashion, but it wasn't limited to like I'm, in Sunday with a clergy collar on. You feel me? So again, like that's the artist. And at the end of the day, like I want to just continue to explore those models. I feel like the new pastors do rhyme. The new pastors are multifaceted. Like they don't just treat it like a business model and just show up to give people a product, but they're actually redefining the experience maybe week by week, day by day. Okay. So I'm trying to stay tapped into that because I feel like that goes so much further than what we do every Sunday.
Yeah.
Also, though, you've put yourself in different places, and I won't say put yourself, but you've been invited in different spaces based off what you naturally do and who you are now. I've noticed, like last week we had C's, he was on the show, and he had his show at the Maroon Arts Group. I know you built with a lot of those brothers in that area now.
Yep.
And so how has that been? Being able to leave like the church walls, which we know what kind of dynamic that is, and then to step into spaces that are not necessarily Christian or faith-based, but still have an aspect of faith. How has that transition been and being able to build with people? Because I think the issue that we have with the church right now is the lack of camaraderie and community with other organizations, right? So growing up, like I was telling somebody, like on Saturday, I would go to the mosque, with my Nation of Islam brothers. And then Sunday, I would go to church. But then on Mondays and Wednesdays, we would come together with them and feed the community in Mount Vernon, right? So that was dope because it allowed me to be able to see people of other faiths. Even though we may not agree on certain things, we agree that the community needs help.
Absolutely.
So how has that been for you to now be stepping into these spaces, and kind of building these relationships?
Yeah, man, it's been beautiful, man. I love it. I love it. Like, I think I started building those relationships while I was pastoring. But I would communicate to my congregation, like my office wasn't at the church building. My office was at Uppercut. I'd be at the coffee shop, so literally either writing a sermon or reading something or writing rhymes, but just being present in the space. And it created natural opportunities to meet people. A couple years ago, I was doing this protest of Casey Goodson getting shot. And you remember, my protest was I'm not cutting my hair till bro gets arrested. And, after a certain period of time, you looking crazy. So you show up to the coffee shop, like the hair's still not cut, but the conversations it creates.
Right.
And I'm navigating that space, but I'm also navigating different like racial and ethnic groups with a visual image of what I believe in. And they ask questions, and then they may join and support. So I just think, like, at the end of the day, I end up in these spaces because I'm not afraid. Like, I'm not afraid of being thought of as less than a believer or a spiritual leader or whatever because of the way I show up. I just try to show up as who I am and let God do the work in terms of building relationships.
That's real. That's real.
So let's talk through the mental health stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So I mentioned you're the co-founder of More Life Trauma Care, and a few years ago, we went through COVID. You and I were just kind of just building, staying connected, going crazy.
Going crazy, bro.
Wanting to be outside, can't be outside. They telling you gotta social distance, all this kind of stuff, right? And so we started having conversations just about the mental strain that took on just me and you personally. I think I reached out to you like, hey, I'm looking for a counselor. You know what I'm saying? And you were like, I'm in counseling. And I was struggling and trying to find a counselor. Yeah. And even with the resources that I got, it was difficult. Yeah. And we started having conversations about how church in particular, we always believe like, we just pray about it, throw some oil on it, you know what I mean? Lay hands on it. Mm-hmm. But still you dealing with some of the stuff. Some things take clinical care.
Yes.
So in terms of like that, how important was it for you to really sound the alarm around mental health and, how More Life was kind of born?
Yeah, man. Like you said, me and you have been talking about it as pastors. And that's another part of pastoring is there is a part of your humanity that you don't feel like you can share with the world. Mm-hmm. Like, so you reaching the end of yourself. We literally going insane. I just need us to just stop and think about and remember the pandemic. Go ahead. Like when we was in the house, like
6 years ago.
A lot of the George Floyd protesting and stuff like that, I felt like was an expression of people's mental health. Yeah. Like everybody just wanted to get outside. Yeah. Right. And maybe everybody didn't care about the outcome for Black lives, but people were just happy to be outside in the streets
and with other people.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Like if we didn't have the pandemic as kind of like a part of that effect, I don't know if as many people or the same kinds of people would have showed up. Mm-hmm. So you're watching people like really try to live out a practice of mental health or at least express where they are mentally in a social effect. But then the church, like most of the churches was closed. Mm-hmm. So it's like pastors are going through it. They're not seeing their congregations every week. Mm-hmm. They're not tapping in with the people who help them lead and design like programming for the church. And, on a personal level, everybody has to look in the mirror or the four walls of their own house and figure out how they're going to live with some sort of quality of life from day to day. And then we had to figure out like real time how to reach the people if we couldn't like tangibly connect with them. So I think it was a perfect storm for us to begin the conversation beyond like what we were personally exploring, and then really kind of set like a standard of leadership to say like, first of all, we as pastors, we are in counseling or we need therapy, and we're exploring what it means for us to be okay.
Yeah, that was crazy. People was like, what? And like, yes, I'm going to counseling. Yeah. I'm in counseling. Like I need it, because if not, I'm on the news.
Bro.
That's what it is. What it is.
At the end of the day, you're a human being.
Yeah, but I think in these positions, sometimes people try to hold you to a certain standard, without realizing that, you're still a man, you're still a female, you're still flawed, you still got stuff you're going through, you still got childhood trauma that you ain't dealt with, you still losing loved ones, and then I got to do funeral after funeral, hospital visits, and, seeing people pass away or seeing them be sick, like those things kind of weigh on you. And so, even when me and Taylor were first having the conversation, I'm gonna just say it's a lot of pastors that wasn't rocking with it, that still ain't rocking with it now. When we reach out to them and try to figure out how we can build camaraderie, how we can continue to push it forward. It wasn't popular back then to talk about mental health. You know what I'm saying? Now it's a little more popular, but it wasn't popular back then. So why do you think that trauma goes like quote unquote invisible inside the church?
Yeah, I'm sitting here thinking how controversial I want to be today.
Go ahead. I mean, listen, we don't.
Just to say more.
We
Yeah,
get with the
yeah,
air
yeah.
horn.
We don't say less.
Taylor about to get reckless.
Yeah, say what you gotta say.
Mental health has kind of become like a hustle, in my opinion, at this point. So we're talking about the way it was and the way it is right now. I think the way that you show up as a pastor or a leader, you got to be like a superhuman. You got to be heroic. You got to be something bigger than human. And so when you show up with your weaknesses, then sometimes people distrust you. They're like, if you don't got the answers, then how you going to tell me what the answers are?
Yeah.
And ultimately, for me, I think our example is to continue to show that we need the same grace that y'all need. Like we are all accessing the same thing, even though I'm sharing with you what God has revealed to me as answers or solutions, I tap into them myself.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes for some people, their model of church breaks down if they can't be the strongest, the best talker, the richest person. Like their model for leadership breaks down when they actually got to be human. Some people don't know how to talk outside of their preacher voice. And that's annoying. You feel me? Like, I don't want to see you in the coffee shop talking to me like nah,
Doc,
bro.
what up, Doc?
Yeah. Some of y'all be cussing like on the low and don't want to show up in a human way to any people in your congregation. It's not to say that you glorify the weakest parts of your character or whatever, but at the same time, you need to help people understand that they need God more than they need you.
Yeah.
Like
That's
straight
that's
up.
a good point.
That has to feel real though.
Yeah.
Like if you are the person who shows up for everybody's needs all the time, some people can get it confused and feel like you're the one who's carrying them through.
Yeah. So let me this is for everybody too, because I think all of us, specifically like as black men, shout out to my sisters that's sitting here with us as well.
Shout out.
But,
Shout out to sis.
as black men, you do feel like you got to be the strongest. You got to be the one to show up. Just speaking specifically for this circle, many of us are ones that, take care of family, take care of our mothers. You know what I'm saying? We had to be like the man of the house. So like, let's talk through that. Have y'all ever had to struggle with this idea of showing up as your strongest self, even though you got all your own stuff going on, but the house is chaotic, so you got to put your stuff to the side to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does that weigh on y'all, as young men?
100%. I think that in terms, I think sometimes I put the standard on myself to be that like top person to always be right or always have something going on. Like for example, like the show stuff, like most of the time I'm a lead. So say you have to memorize 100 pages. So like some days you might not be feeling it, like especially when it's showtime, like you might not be feeling like stuff be crazy at the house, or moms and my dad is getting older, so make sure they're all right and things like that. And then I might have to go and be at a show at 6, and I'm like, I don't feel like doing this, but you have to show up because you're the person. Like without the show, there's no show without you.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that where it sometimes gets to me, and sometimes I try to back off, or like I said, like you said, be human and just not really put the pressure of you always having to show you're the best, show you act the best, or doing things you're always successful, or always posting to make sure somebody sees that you're doing great, but just let everything go, because sometimes it don't really matter for real. Like it don't matter. Like you just be human, nobody cares. And I think even with what I like about New Birth and even Pastor Moore and Yavis is that Yavis been pastor since my teen pastor days, so I was little. So he always showed a level of humanity where, like you said, he is a pastor and he's always preaching and things like that, of going and being faithful to God, but also he shows instances of where he's just like us and he's a human. He's like everything like that, especially with the rapping. I'm like, oh, my pastor cool. I don't know what your pastor. My pastor cool. Straight up. My pastor cool for real. Like my pastor rap. I go to other churches like, your pastor rap? Oh, okay.
He's not the street pastor.
Like, your pastor not rapping.
The cool is real. Know the street melodies.
Nah, for real.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's real.
But that stuff like that, we're always trying to gain in humanity, and I think even with a sense of family, where you ever been like the famous cousin or like the cousin that do stuff, a lot of stuff in the
When
family.
you come around, they want you to like dance,
like,
sing,
yeah,
rap.
you're the one cousin that. So every time you come around, they be like, "What you doing now? Like, what you doing now? What you been through now?" And I'm probably like, "Nothing, chilling." You're like, "Oh, you fall off? No, I didn't fall off.
I'm just being normal.
Chilling. Like I'm just being normal.
Right, it's crazy.
There's no shows right now. So stuff like that where you just try to gain a level of humanity. see nature, be outside, and just be cool. Like, yeah. So I understand what you think.
Yeah. For me personally, I think my struggle is different just because, like, I feel like I have a different upbringing from a lot of black men. I went to a school where it wasn't a lot of people who looked like me, and there's a certain connotation that comes with that. So when people see you not showing up as, like, what they imagine you to be, there's like a mold that they want you to fit inside of. And I always try to not do that because I've seen what the outside of the mold looks like, and it can come back and people try and shape it as like, oh, the way you act is like, oh, you're better than this and you've been afforded these type of opportunities and stuff. And it's just, I go through the same things, like the same type of emotional struggles, like the same type of weights. Like, I still have to pick them up and carry them too. So I definitely feel like there's a certain peace that you have to have. And it's something that I've been able to gain, kind of being the baby of my family, because I've been able to see what emotions do to people. And like I'm gonna operate outside of that one. That one seems destructive. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's dope.
So yeah,
That
that's
one
kind
seems
of.
destructive.
Let's not do that one,
Bro, leave that one alone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah, man. So to y'all's point, like growing up as a black man, it's hard. You know, it's hard to figure out. But I feel like once you start to realize like you're not alone, like what you said, as far as like New Birth and our pastor, like he delivers our word. I'm talking about him like in third person.
Really? I looked up like right here.
You better say it right.
I looked up like he's right here.
He delivers our
Like
word.
he's right here.
Like, I'm dead.
You know what I mean?
They cut me.
Man, it's just I'm really passionate about it because like, Pastor, you brought me through a lot of stuff, man. Like just showing us that you are us. You know what I mean? You are a man. You know, so just seeing a lot of the struggles that you went through helped me understand that like a lot of struggles that I was going through were around the same, if not weaker, if not stronger. It didn't really matter because you showed that how a man should operate through the midst of the fire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just watching that, just allowing you to, you know, be a role model in my life, it's a blessing for real. So I was able to just really just pivot and learn off of the black man that I have in my life.
That's dope. I mean, I think one thing for me, I'm trying to learn to be more, I would say, sensitive to like other people, because growing up, you know, like somebody was to say something nice to you, you always find a way to joke about it, or you know what I'm saying, push it to the side, or you know, like my son, like Yavis is a very emotional kid because his mother's very emotional. Like she's very loving, she's very cuddly. You know, he be wanting to cuddle with me, and I'm like, get off me. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't grow up that way. Yeah, cuddling and stuff with my parents. And so like even Key texted me the other night. Like it was like late. He was like, man, like I love you, bro. And I was like, bro, what you on, bro? I had to realize, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he was dead serious, and I just made light of it. You know what I mean? So it's like, but learning to deal with your trauma. Like I'm realizing that there's certain trauma that I still carry from growing up because of how I had to grow up, how I had to show up. And so for you, how do you, like, what does mental health look for you like for you now?
A simple answer, mental health looks like fashion to me. You know, like I think presenting myself in a certain way for the day is a picture of my mental health. So if I came through here and the shirt was wrinkled, you know, the shorts was too tight, you know, the shoes was dirty, then I'm telling you something about how I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm really telling you where I'm at. Like, you don't have to ask me. It's just like, bro, let's pray. Let's pray now.
You see it?
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, straight up. Like, but seriously, like, I think there are different ways for people to analyze, like, superficially something like fashion. But for me as a creative, it's very intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you wake up and, you know, how am I feeling today? You know, how do I want to show up for today? And it's not about the most expensive thing, but it is about expressing who you are. So I think that's a very, I would say, relatable and accessible answer that I would give, because I think people are trying to figure out the codes of the cool and fashion and all that different stuff, but it ain't always just about social clout. It's about who you are as an individual and how you express yourself.
Exactly.
And whether or not you have the courage to show up as yourself every day versus like who somebody else wants you to be. So that's just a simple way that I think about how I'm doing mentally from day to day and being honest about that.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I rock with it, yo. I would say more. I always have a connection with More Life because I think I got it in 2024.
Oh yeah, because you went through More Life.
Yeah, I went through More Life because I went through like traumatic events relationship-wise in 2023 and 2024. Okay. So that whole year I was going through it. Like, it was down bad. Like you said, I was wearing it. Like, everybody was asking me, you good? Like, I'm like, no. I had to take time to even through that.
Real though.
Low key going through it. But I was trying still to have that pressure on me of looking like I was trying, even though it was clear that something was wrong, but I was trying to do like more like events and dropping music, stuff like that, just to give like this facade. But as it was a breaking point, like in December, so I hit up Pop Ellis, and he gave me the More Life number. Had 10 free sessions with Miss Way. I'll never forget her. And I think I was happy with More Life because
Shout out to Miss Way, man.
Shout out to Miss Way. Yeah, I was more in tune with More Life because I was honestly scared of therapy. I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's going to cover.
That's
but with the idea of that it's faith-based, I had a familiarity there where like, I understand if God's involved, which I want to be involved in everything, and he's involved in therapy too, that we can figure some things out, like I feel like together. So that's what happened. And I think that she taught me a lot of things, and I like the homework she gave, like it should be like verses to read, or she even gave different aspects that connected with my life because I watch movies a lot and I connect with the art. So she would look up different like Christian movies. I think that was on like Netflix or something like that.
Wow.
That aligned directly with what I was dealing with, just to give me something to watch. So I would come back with notes and then we'd talk about it. And then she'd be real. So it was a dynamic of her doing that. But it didn't feel like she was preaching to me because she would like go off of that, and then like she would just talk regular, like she would get on me for real, and I'm like, I bet. So it was a both type of.
She gave you that mama talk.
Yeah,
too,
like,
mama,
definitely. It was both things. So I think it helped tremendously. But by the end of it, I didn't even finish all 10. I think we had a breakthrough at like 7. Where she was like, "No, you're good. Like, we don't need to come back here no more. Like, you straight." Because 7, we were just talking regular, and then at that point, everything was just happier. Everything. And
the comment you made to me was like, "More life, save my life," or something like that. That's what you said. I'm like, "Oh, we gotta get." It
feels like a whole different.
That's tight, bro.
It's like a before and after, and then everything has been straight, everything blossoming, and I've been being my authentic self and not really hiding who I am, and like not really hiding my problems, and like this being like more of a testimony, walking testimony of preaching for mental health, and still being strong, still being the cool guy, still like having fashion. It doesn't make you weaker, doesn't make you less cool. Like I feel like it's more cool. I feel like it's more popular to have that strength to attack mental health and then get it controlled and be your authentic self as you move through the day-to-day basis. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good,
bro. That's fire.
Say more success stories.
That's fire, bro. Yeah.
Applause on there.
That's great, man.
So 20 years from now, what are you hoping that people say Taelor Gray built? 20 years from now, what would be said that you
question.
built?
That's a great question, bro. And usually when people say that's a great question, that's like stalling.
Yeah.
How you answer. You know, 20 years from now, I think the whole idea of growing up, maturing, learning, and kind of experiencing different seasons, for me, it feels more precious. And so when I think of 20 years from now, first and foremost, I want to be alive and healthy.
Yeah.
Bruh. Somebody cheering, somebody happy.
All right, 20 years from now.
20.
That's crazy.
I thought it was outside. I'm like,
I was looking like
it's a park.
They're not headphones.
I'll say as far as for me, I want to be an example of whatever I build. Like, so I don't want to build something at the expense of my own health. I don't want to build something and then I'm not even healthy enough to enjoy it or to speak about it. So I want to start with me. I want to be in a position where I can represent the things that I built in a healthy way, like that equipped me to represent it appropriately. And then what I want to build ultimately are new pathways to the faith. I want to build institutions and spaces that encourage relational growth and honesty in terms of how we process the faith. We talked earlier, just I mentioned in fashion as an expression of mental health. There is a point in scripture where in the aftermath of the David and Bathsheba episode, where basically he was a peeping Tom. He was looking at somebody getting dressed from his king window, and he got found out, got called out, got exposed, and then he was devastated. There is an application of what he looked like when he was convicted and when he was sorry about his sin, but then he was actually going crazy for real. Like mentally and emotionally, he was destabilized. So the other side of that was literally he had to get up, wash his face, put on some new clothes, and show up for the day.
Wow.
So I want to be an expression of that full journey. You feel me? Like I have places, and I think I wear my humanity publicly. I wear it in such a way where it's a part of my example. Some people say, like, don't showcase your weaknesses because that's going to make you lose credibility. Well, then for me, it's like, well, we have to close the scriptures. We can't continue to read because the part of the story that we want to tell is not always the part where it's all figured out and clean and polished. So I feel like a pathway to the faith is being able to have rooms and spaces like this where we talk about all parts of the journey so that people can grow. You may not be in a position where you can practice holiness in all the guidelines at this point, but if you're in a space that still accepts you in your pathway to whatever maturity you're seeking, then at least you feel safe enough to continue on the journey.
That's dope.
So I want to build spaces like that. I feel like Sunday morning church is really difficult to see as like covering all those angles. Even when you get up to preach, it's like one-way communication. It's not dialogue. So you need another space to say like, yo, let me reintroduce you to myself because you saw a Sunday morning version of me. And I think we need more institutional spaces like that. I think we need more creative spaces like that. And I want to look back and say, I built some pathways to being able to experience that as a healthy community. And I think I'm on the way to that.
You gotta come to the Say More Kickbacks.
Yeah, matter of fact, Say More Kickback, he's doing our writer workshop at the next one.
Oh,
So,
word. Well, then
July
that's
26th, tap in
that's
with
a
us.
pathway.
Yeah, it's a pathway.
Writing is a pathway.
Yeah.
And I
real
want
quick, talk about that real fast before we get up out of here. Let's tell people about the new thing you're doing with the app and everything as well.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So we was talking about bars earlier. You got bars. I hope you share some.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, put the headphones on. Get to it.
Don't hate, brother.
About the gas man up.
Can't
I'm just trying to hear something.
Fresh 16 on the way.
I launched a new app to create a pathway to better holistic health through writing. I think for me as an artist, as a rapper, people think of writing in a specific capacity where you're showcasing your skill level. But I think that the idea of being a creative has been put in this special category where you can actualize it as a career path. When I think writing is literally just a part of the human experience, whether you're going through school, whether you are journaling, and whether you're just detailing and documenting different parts of your life. What I want people to be able to uncover is like what's going on inside of them through writing. Like what's happening in your heart and your mind, and to access that as a practice of better mental health. So the app basically encourages you to write every day. So it gives you a time to sit with yourself, meditate, ground yourself. How you feeling today? And then it prompts you to write it down. It doesn't have to be a rhyme, but it's encouraged to be something creative. It could be a story you want to tell. It could be something you saw on TV. It could be a poem. You could tap into something or whatever, but it's not for performance. It's basically an encouragement to show up for the day.
Wow.
So I want to create that pathway to say, like, we all are writers. We all have something to say. And ultimately, you might be surprised by what you have to say. You might be surprised as to whatever's going on in your heart and in your mind. And the idea of the creative is not a special category. I believe it is every human being's capacity to express themselves. The creator created creatives. and that's who we all
That's
are.
so boring itself.
That's a shirt.
I like that.
Mic on that
You need to hit the
one.
clap button on that.
Fire,
one.
man.
So
Oh, I got a
the
clap
applause
button.
Yes.
with that app, man. So, or is it like a prompt or anything? Because
So it's like a-
I
comes
really
out.
want to know what the app is because I've been trying to get into reading and writing. Like
Yep.
I feel like that's really foundational for the human mind. So, talk to us a little bit more about that, man.
It is
I
prompted.
really want that.
It's my first personally, and I've been kind of like skeptical about AI personally, but this is my first true way to engage with AI as a tool.
Okay.
So creating the app, I had to talk to the AI to make sure that what was being prompted was actually something that sounds like my voice.
Wow.
You know, and what I just articulated, hopefully it shows up in the prompts, in the way that you engage with the app itself. So, there are prompts where, based on what you share, there will be follow-up questions.
That's dope.
There will be even scripture prompts to say, read this and tell me what you think. It will give you an opportunity to stop, be quiet, meditate on either what you read or what you wrote. And then the follow-up the next day is, do you have more to say? Do you still feel the way you felt yesterday? And before you know it, a month later, you like, man, I really explored a part of me that I never knew existed. So that's the hope. Honestly, like it's not this thing where it's like, I'm trying to sell a product. I really want to hear from people that it worked. You feel me? Like not just that you did it and you accomplished it on your task list, but how you feel. You feel better.
That's dope.
To be clear, what's the app's name?
It's called the website is a direct link, studio.com/Taelor. I have themed it Peace to the Writers.
Peace
So
to the writers.
if you hit my Instagram at Taelor_Gray, I got the link in my bio, and it's connected through a larger platform, studio.com, which
sure
works
I'll
with a
tap
ton
in
of
with my
Hey,
guy
I'm
for
tapped.
sure,
I'm
man.
telling you, I'm tapped.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, man, I definitely want to know what's the verse of the day.
The verse of the day.
Verse of the day.
Since we're talking about this today, and I just mentioned David, Bathsheba, and all of that, I'm gonna go the whole chapter of Psalm 51 because you want to know how David felt. That's what I love about the Psalms. We talk about mental health. Mental health is in the Psalms.
Yes.
Like how you feeling? How are you broken by whatever's going on? How are you emotionally doing with the circumstances and the hands that you were dealt? Psalm 51 is probably one of the most graphic representations of how it feels as a believer to take your trash to the throne and ask God to see you, heal you, and restore you to continue walking on. So I encourage the whole chapter of Psalm 51 because it's David writing right in the aftermath of being called out about Bathsheba. So check it out.
Jesus. Hey, Taelor, thank you so much for coming by with us today, man. We appreciate you.
My guy.
Excited. We got to get you back to, premiere some music. We got to do that on like the Say More kickback, man. We might do a night where we just have, Taelor Gray night, man. We just vibe out to some new music, that kind of stuff as well. So.
I mean, we listen, bro. This dude is funny. Like, because now we both be talking about performing in different ways. Like, you don't remember all your lyrics all the time, so
man,
maybe we just
come in
play
and
some records.
music, you know what I mean? Just play the songs. And I will say that I gotta give you your flowers. You are one of the reasons why I'm getting back into dropping music again. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, so that's been God has used you as an example.
Fire.
Like, man, keep going.
Yeah to that.
Keep putting
to that.
keep putting music out. I know. Listen, man, make sure you subscribe to the Say More podcast. And if you are someone who needs mental health services, need resources, tap in with us. Go to morelifetoday.org. Again, that's morelifetoday.org, because even after trauma, there's more life. All right, tap in with us again at the Say More podcast.
Doses.
That was great, man.
Rock with it. Oh.